Welcome to the Blessed Mindset Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Raquel Tolson, and we are broadcasted on WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network, but we are a community of Christians, FYI. We have a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. If you have been enjoying the Blessed podcast, I need you to go to www.wytv7.org and hit the donate button. Your donations help keep us on the air, all the podcasters on the air, and it sends kids to college, and we're feeding families. So go and donate, please. All right, so 2022, I'm focusing on the family. It is February, Black History Month. So this month we're going to focus on the Black family. So anybody else that you're not Black, keep listening because you got Black friends. So you can focus on your Black family friends this month. Okay, so one of the things, well, first let me just show y'all my Blackish. If y'all listening, I got on a Blackish t-shirt, which is one of my favorite shows. It's in this last season. This is the last season. It's over after this season. I'm gonna tell you, this show to me has been so good for Black people because it shows us in just our different struggles.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, you get money, you move it out to the, suburbs, you got different problems. Or you don't have problems, but you got different problems, So it's like, so I thought wearing my Blackish shirt today because we're gonna talk about some issues that face a lot of people, but it really faces Black people, and that is our health. Because let's just say COVID, when it was first came, it was hitting us hard. And when I say hitting us hard, I mean we were dying, dropping off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it seems like for most things, it happens like that. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you guys who is with me today. Today, I have with me my big sister, Rosalind Raleigh. Welcome to the Blessed Podcast.
Hello. I am so glad to be here. Yes.
Well, I have invited you because you actually have had a lot of experience, unfortunately. You have had a lot of experience with diabetes. And so that is really my main topic today because it just feels like diabetes has really plagued our community. And I think that with the COVID, it was the diabetes that was making it so hard on our community. Right?
I agree. Because along with diabetes comes so many sub areas that cause us to be high risk.
Yes. So we are going to talk about health in the Black community today, helping Black families. My sister Rosalind is going to, really, she's an expert. She may not have gone and got a degree in medicine, but you shake your head, no, you really are expert. So, Roz, tell them why I say you are expert.
I don't know why you say I'm an expert. But I have been directly affected by diabetes. My daughter is a juvenile diabetic, a chronic diabetic, which means we have experienced so many different lanes of the chronicness of this diabetes, and in and out of the hospital so many times that I've had the opportunity to ask a lot of questions to the professionals to get answers back from them. And for so many years, I just got all this information, all these different experiences, all these different how-tos and what not tos and different scenarios. And even with understanding that the basicness of the diabetes does not apply to everyone. There's an exception to every rule. And we have to understand that. But understanding the foundation of it helps you understand when you fall out of line of what the norm is. I know quite a bit of that, unfortunately.
Right, right,
Kind of see it.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without doing a test. I get to the point sometimes I'll see someone and I'm looking at them and I just said, did you take your medicine, your insulin this morning? Or you or you are diabetic, right? They're like, how do you know this? How do you know this? I said, I'm looking at you and you doing this. And it was like, how do you know that? It's just once you have that experience, you can't really explain how you know it. You just know it. You
Mhm.
just know it. And so many of us are affected by it in our community, and we don't even know it. And then those that are affected by it, by them being the ones that have it, the people around them, this is the scary part. The people around them have no idea how to support them.
So you know what, you said something, and if this is what I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think it's really important if we're going to help Black families thrive. I think it's important for us to know some signs when people sugar is acting up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom almost fainted in a restaurant because we were waiting for so long and she needed to eat something. And it was like, oh my, I didn't know. I was like younger. I was like, I didn't know I need to make sure she has some peppermints or something. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
she can't wait to eat. We can't wait 2 hours for a table when the person is with us is diabetic.
Right.
So what are some of the things that we need to look for in our diabetic? In our, I don't want to call them diabetics. There's people who are experiencing diabetes.
There are so many different things to look for because each person has different signs, but there are some basic signs. Some of them personality change totally.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them if they're chatty and communicative, they tend to become less chatty
Mm-hmm.
and less in tune. They may not always understand the question, be able to really answer it. And so sometimes we just play it out. Why are you acting funny? Well, they're not acting funny because they acting funny. They acting funny
Right.
because at this moment they're having no control over their responses. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens, they tend to start just kind of being unresponsive almost, but unresponsive. They really can't help it. And sometimes it's them going down too low.
Mm-hmm.
And for some, it's almost the same when they're going too high,
Okay.
when they're regulated.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are unregulated, it's challenging to tell whether they're high or low or what's going on with them because their body is fluctuating so much, which is
Right.
dangerous for us when we have those extreme highs and extreme lows because your internal organs are being affected when you have extreme highs for long periods of time as well as extreme lows.
Right, right. Because I was about to say, it's either, it doesn't matter. If it's too low, it's a problem. If it's too high, so it really is something that it really takes a village. I'm gonna say that probably a whole lot this month, but it really takes a village to when you have somebody that is dealing with diabetes.
Does. It does. And one of the scariest parts, again, I'll say, is that the people who are directly affected by it because they have it, the ones that love them, that are with them, whether it's their friends, family, spouses, really don't understand diabetes.
Right.
And we need to understand by diabetes to not be afraid of it,
Hmm.
but to be able to know how it is that we need to support them.
Right, right. What's the main thing that you would say to a parent or a child of a who has a parent that what would you tell them like your best advice for them? What do they need to do to be of to help their loved one?
First of all, to get educated about the diabetes so you can know the basic things. And then experience will help you grow in being more comfortable with that. Because sometimes people don't even want to deal with a person who has a chronic disease. No, 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 you can't go. Because Ariel experienced that a lot. She can't go if you don't go. because she didn't know how to manage her diabetes or to take care of it. And so it was safer for her to be with me. But but it would have been nice if I could have had other people who understood or who were willing to understand what she needed to do.
Right.
Because people would say, you can't eat that, you can't have that. Well, she can have that, but there are things that she needs to do in order for her to have that, because she's an insulin dependent diabetic, and everything she eats, it matters. She has to control all of that.
Right.
And so people would be afraid of her rather than learn how to help her manage or help her do what she needs to do so that she could be with them and they could know what to do. I'd say get educated about the diabetes, and for your particular person especially.
Right. And it's so funny because when you say that, because I know I'm one and I'm like looking at her like, are you supposed to have that? Like, I don't say you not supposed to have it. I'm always questioning, are you supposed to have that? Is that right? Because I don't know. Right. I don't know. So I'm asking her because I want her to know that I'm trying to be observant because I want to make sure that you're healthy. So I'm going to be observant, but sometimes she's not supposed to have stuff. And I asked that question and she like, oh man, you got me.
But look, and I tell people all the time though, there's even a right way to do the wrong thing.
A right way to do the wrong thing.
Because if you're not supposed to have that piece of cake because of your blood sugar, well then you can manage the rest of the meal. Make sure you're not eating any pasta at the dinner. Just eat the meat and the vegetables, but don't have any gravy. Don't have anything that's got a lot of carbs in it. You just don't eat any of those so that you can have the thing that you want.
So you can have the slice of cake.
Right. Now, they're not good carbs, but you still got to manage it.
And you made a valid point, because who wants to go through life with saying I can't have certain things? So it's like, okay, especially as Christians, we feel like we should be able to have everything we want, right? But it's in moderation.
Yes.
And like you said, if I want to have that slice of cake, and only a small slice of cake, I can't eat all the other foods. Like for Thanksgiving, I'll just use Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is one of the, or for most Black families, every Sunday. Y'all know the Sunday meals be looking like Thanksgiving in Black households. But instead of eating the macaroni and cheese and the dressing and the bread, the cornbread to go in the greens, because who wants really greens without the cornbread? But if you're diabetic, maybe you don't want to have the corn because you're gonna want a piece of the sweet potato pie at the end.
Yes. Or you have to go to or the recommended portion size, because we don't use the recommended portion size.
Is there a recommended portion size for macaroni and cheese? I've never.
There's a recommended portion size for everything.
No, seriously though. Seriously though. Is it? You get your big hunk.
No. Because I have these little just a little small size little containers, and I said, okay, we're gonna measure your stuff in here, so you don't have to just put it in there, and that's all you can have. And sometimes she'll look at me like, and I'm like, that's all you're supposed to have. And sometimes she does say, well, I don't want it then.
Be like, you know what? If never mind.
Okay.
That is so funny. You know what? You brought me to a point that I do want to talk about, because that's part of basically what your program is. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to share what you're doing this year, your initiative to help families with diabetes. Everybody, stay. Do not leave. Stay, because you're going to want to hear this. We'll be right back.
You and I face more uncertainty today than we ever have in our lifetime. and I know that you and your teams have faced hardships that undermine your sense of identity and purpose. Uncertainty puts your vision at risk. This leads to confusion, loss of opportunity, and income. The time for courage is now. I almost died at birth. My twin sister and I were born 14 weeks premature in the 70s when such tiny babies were not deemed viable. We were given too much oxygen at birth, which caused irreparable damage to my eyes, causing total blindness. I get immense joy from sharing my story and teaching framework with audiences to help them transform from being people who are fearful, confused and stuck to people who are in control and who take courageous steps toward a clear vision. Using my focus methodology, I will teach your team how to build their courage by fixing their eyes on the prize rather than the problems, and by optimizing their goals for outstanding outcomes so they can get back into some serious productivity. I will encourage them to connect with their conviction for increased consistency in performance and to constantly look to upgrade their courage for unbelievable results. Lastly, I will show your team how they can see their success by putting their courage into action. The experiences and challenges I have faced throughout my life have taught me skills of courage and resilience, which I will share with your team. Together, let's unlock new levels of courage.
And we're back. So we're talking about helping Black families with diabetes. And with me is my sister Rosalind, who is an expert in diabetes. I promise you. So please listen to what she has to say because she's been through a whole lot. Believe me, we've been in and out of the hospitals a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, so you decided November is National Diabetes Month, but you didn't want to wait to November to do something. You wanted to start now. So tell us about your initiative that you're going to do this year.
Okay, quick, I do want to add that I am not a licensed specialist for diabetes or anything. I do have life experience though, and yes, it's definitely been a journey. But you know what? I have done walks for cancer, all of them. You name it. Domestic violence, sexual abuse, heart association. Not one time for diabetes. The thing that I am directly related to, and it's like I woke up the new year, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? No, that's over." So now I want to do something different. I'm starting something with Ariel and myself, but I said, you know what? I think that this should go into my community. Because whether you know it or not, people are watching you. So let's let them watch together and then join in with what it is that we're doing. I'm calling this initiative the Let's Move initiative. Okay. Let's move. Because anything that we do to change something, it's got to be some movement. Right. It's got to be some action. So the action that I'm taking is starting the Let's Move. And I want to make people aware of the diabetes. So every month we're going to share a little bit of details, not a whole lot of science, because I want people to ask questions, the real things they want to know, because sometimes the science will just kind of confuse you. We're going to keep it in layman's terms and very basic. Let me show you my little board that I made.
Okay. Yeah. So for people that are listening, you got to go to the YouTube so you can see this nice board.
Okay. So it says Diabetes Awareness Month, November. And then it says you and I together. because
Okay.
we're not, it takes a community, a village. You talked about that.
Right.
And I want people to know that you are not alone. You are not
Mhm.
alone in this journey, because sometimes you don't see people like you. You
Right.
don't meet people like you. You're the only one got to check yourself before you eat, or
Mhm.
got to manage this or that. But guess what? You're not. We're just
Mhm.
not talking about it. And I have no idea why we're not. So let's talk about it and make a
Right.
difference. I'm really looking for in this initiative for a minimum
Okay.
of 100 people to join us in the
Okay.
Let's Move action. I want us to decrease by 2,022 pounds
Oh wow.
by November. And then I want you to find out what your A1C is. We'll talk about all of that later. We won't get too much science about that.
Mhm.
Between 6 and 8. And if you're in the medical field, I know 8 is a big number. But if you have a client, or if you are a person that know your numbers in double digits, like you're a 12, yeah, that's a high number. And if you can get your 12 down to an 8 because you participated with this, that's winning. That's winning. We'll talk about the benefits of that later. And if you're type 1 or type 2, we definitely want to talk about all those different things that's going on with you, the different things that you can get to doing. How are we
So
going to do
that's
that?
awesome. Wait a minute. Because I am a medical professional. I don't know if people know, but I am a pharmacist. So I just want to throw in some numbers, some A1C numbers, so you can know what Rosalind is talking about. So an A1C should be below 5.7. That's normal. 5.7 is normal. Okay. Now let me just say this: the guidelines changed. It used to be that anything under 6 was normal. And
Right.
then if you were at 6 to 6.5, you were at risk. And then anything over 6.5, you're considered diabetic. But now the A1C guidelines say that normal is below 5.7. And then between 5.7 and 6.4, they call it pre-diabetes, which I hate that term. We'll talk about it later. And then diabetes 6.5. So let me just share with you guys why I hate the term pre-diabetes. Because I don't think that you should tell somebody they got a disease and they don't have the disease. Let's not do pre. Let's say you're at risk. I like the term risk because that's letting you know, hey, you're not pre nothing. You're not, but you are on the road to,
Right.
if you don't start doing something
If
different.
nothing changes.
So I'm going to suggest that for you, for anybody out there listening, even if you have not been diagnosed with diabetes, with type 1 or type 2, I believe that you need to go and get your A1C checked to see if you are in that at risk stage. And I'm going to say use theirs. At risk is 5.7 to 6.4. At risk, we're not going to call it prediabetes. Don't let them give you no medication yet. 5.7 to
Yeah.
6.4, we're going to say that you're at risk and you need to be joining this initiative because you need to get your A1C down lower. So I'm going to just put out there a challenge to people who are not diabetic, but who have risky A1Cs to join this challenge, and let's lower it to under 5.7. I know that's not you, Roz, but I'm throwing that out for the people that are listening. And then the other thing I think that would be wonderful is because it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the household, if you have a loved one who needs to be in this challenge, please get them in this challenge.
Yes.
But you need to join them because losing weight, hey, that's another thing that we got in our community.
Yeah.
We got some thickums. I'm a thickum. We got some thickums, and I like being thicker than a snicker. I do, but I don't need to be this thick. I don't need to be this thick. I'm not trying to get skinny because I like being thicker than a snicker. But this, I can lose some weight. I can lose some weight. So, Roz, if you would allow us, will you allow people who are not diabetics to join you in this venture?
Absolutely. If the target audience is the type 1, the type 2, and the at risk people.
Mhm.
But definitely everybody needs a support system, because one of the things that I said before the break was that we need the people who love us to understand us and to be able to support us in the thing that we're going through. So definitely I want others to join in and eat. Look, so if you're thicker than a Snicker and
and can stand to lose some weight to add to
then,
that 2022.
then you definitely want to less move.
Mhm.
Because if you don't want to be here, you got to do something to get to there. So let's move and get there. In February, the first move that we're going to do is 1/2 hour. We want everyone to move for 1/2 hour, an intentional half hour. Getting up and going to the bathroom 4 times don't count.
Wait, so is this a half hour every day?
Every day. Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yes. A
Okay.
half hour every day. And if it's cold outside, okay, your half hour can be walking around the table in your kitchen. It can be walking from, if you got a long hallway, walking up and down that hallway
Mhm.
for a half hour. Put on your favorite music. Put on your
Learn a TikTok
sneakers.
dance.
Put on just whatever tickles your fancy. Put that on and do that. And if you got a problem walking, sit in your chair, lift your legs and lift your arms. We just need to move intentionally every day for a half hour. And it has been proven that that is major. That movement is major in making a change in your health every day. It is. When you move every
Wow.
day, it's going to help decrease a lot of the things that we're dealing with this diabetes. A lot of things come with that diabetes that we can alleviate that.
I like how you said you're starting off with that. So you're not trying to get somebody to change everything. You're going to change something every month. So February, it's the less move. Now, of course, we want people to keep moving after that, and then you're going to add
I'm going
on
to add to it.
to the day. I am loving this. So where can they join up?
We will be on Facebook. I'm going to start on Facebook. And I think the Facebook is hooked to Instagram, but it's going to start on Facebook. So right now, look for my name, Rosalind Raleigh, and it'll be the Let's Move Initiative.
Okay. And I will put that in the link. It should come up. Come on, everybody. Let's join. We are focusing on the family in 2022. We are focusing on the Black family here in February, but we are going to change some lives. We are going to help families thrive. And the first way, we got to get that health together. And everybody knows it's true. If you're sick, you ain't thriving. I don't care how much money you got. You're not thriving. So we are going to do this. Thank you, Roz. I am so excited about this because my A1C, I do know my number. My A1C is actually 5.7.
Awesome.
And no, because she was like, that's pre-diabetes. I was like, girl, the devil is a lie. Don't be calling me names. Don't be calling me names. I was like, don't be calling me names. Like, how dare you? But I do want to say something about these A1C because we need to work on them. But be clear, with age, your A1C does go up. So I'm 52. My A1C is probably higher than it was when I was 42, regardless, because I'm older. They have done studies. I read, y'all. I read. They have done studies. Age does increase your A1C. So be careful about letting a doctor. I know some doctors out there are gonna be mad at me, but y'all know sometimes y'all be putting stuff on people that ain't true. And especially in our community, they will tell us stuff that's not necessarily true for us. Because I'm just being real with everybody. I go into a new doctor, they see all this all this voluptuousness, and then they do my numbers and they're like, yo, all your numbers are low. Why the hell? Oh, excuse me. Why are you looking at me like my numbers ain't supposed to be low? Because I'm overweight?
Yeah.
How dare you? How rude is that? You should be saying, "Oh, great, your numbers are good," not trying to see if you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what we deal with in our community sometimes with doctors. And I'm saying this as a healthcare professional. It happens.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of us in our culture, when we go to the doctor and they look at your numbers, you mentioned the medicine and all of that. They don't give us an opportunity to change anything, because I asked the doctor, why why you go straight to the medicine?
Mm.
And she said, well, what I found was that people they're not going to get up and move. They're not going to do exercise. They're not going to change their diet. They're not going to do this. And so to keep from going down this road with them, we just go ahead and give them something that we know that's going to take care of them right now, because we know that they're not really going to do it. And I said, but what if there is some people that will? What if there are people that will do what they're supposed to do because they don't want to take medicine? And
Right.
if you explain to them the different things that they can do and what's going to happen when they do it, maybe they will. So that's what I want to do. I want to help people to move so that they can stop taking so much blood pressure medicine, so
Yes.
they can get off the metformin and not
Yes.
take that. It only takes just a little bit of weight to start coming off. You'd be surprised how much 10 pounds will do.
10% of your body, 5 to 10% of your body weight.
Yeah.
Anything you should not even have in your head something more than 10% as your goal. Stop
Yeah.
it. If you say I gotta lose 100 pounds, okay, you gotta lose 100 pounds, but your goal is 5 to 10%. That's
Each
it. And then
time.
the
Each
next
time.
each time 5 to 10%, and you keep doing. We are running out of time. Oh my goodness, it's been so quick. Everybody, go and check out Rosalind Raleigh on Facebook so you can join her initiative. We will put the link in. We are serious about this, y'all. We are focused on the family. We are focused on the family. We are focused on the family. So join us. Join us. And until next week, be blessed.